Hi, I'm author and speaker Robin Mead. This video is Dealing with Difficult People, Part 1, and it's based on the example of Daniel. You can find this video and my other videos on my YouTube channel, and you can find my YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/Robin Mead Author. Please subscribe so you'll be notified the next time a teaching video comes out. You can find my book, Fierce Wholeness, on Amazon in either paperback, ebook, or audiobook format. So for this first video, I'm going to be in Daniel chapter 1, and let me give you some background. So the Israelites had gone through many generations of being disobedient to God, and God gave Israel plenty of warning that there was going to be punishment for their disobedience. And so here in the first chapter of Daniel, the kingdom of Judah is besieged, and God had allowed Judah to be overtaken by Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the Babylonians. And as a part of the conquest, Nebuchadnezzar orders that the cream of the crop of the nobility and the royal family be brought to him, young men who are of good appearance and physically fit and intelligent, and I would say smooth talkers, or aware of maybe street smart would be a good way to put it. They're able to serve in the royal court, because Nebuchadnezzar is not going to waste, he's not going to kill everyone. He's going to leverage what he can find in the kingdoms that he's conquering in order to grow his kingdom and serve his kingdom. So Daniel and his friends, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, are some of these young men that are brought over from the royal family and the nobility of Judah. And once they're brought over to Babylon, their names are changed to Babylonian names, and they are immersed in the culture of their enemy, and expected to be of value to the king who had conquered their nation. So can you imagine being in that position? And can you imagine being a teenager in that position? Because Daniel and his friends are likely between 14 and 17 years old. Well, Daniel starts out right away by asserting a boundary with a person in charge of him and his friends. So let's just read it in Daniel 1, starting in verse 8. So, but Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Therefore, he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to defile himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who assigned your food and your drink. For why should he see that you were in worse condition than the youths who are of your own age? So you would endanger my head with the king. Then Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had assigned over them, Test your servants for 10 days. Let us be given vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance and the appearance of the youths who eat the king's food be observed by you, and deal with your servants according to what you see. So he listened to them in this matter and tested them for 10 days. Okay, so let's think about that. But before we talk about what's happening here, let's talk about why Daniel was able to make the stand. Clearly, he was raised knowing what he would do or should do and would not do. He has that already clearly defined in his head. This is what I do to be faithful to God. This is what I cannot do if I'm going to be faithful to God. And Daniel is acting to honor God. Like there's no other reason. There's no other benefit to him. He's trying to do the right thing. And he is stepping out in faith at maybe 14 years of age. So he's for sure a teenager. So faith is not dependent on age, but on obedience. And Daniel clearly had a good foundation for his faith growing up. Also, Daniel does not demand his own way. He makes a request. He does not throw a fit. He does not belittle this chief of the eunuchs or any of the Babylonians, Chaldeans, none of them, and they're his enemy, and he does not treat them that way. He presents a reasonable option, and then he leaves the results to God. And what happens? Let's read verse 15. And at the end of the 10 days, it was seen that they were better in appearance and fatter in flesh than all the youths who ate the king's food. Okay. And then God blesses them while they are in captivity because of their faithfulness. So let's read verse 17. As for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. At the end of the time, when the king had commanded that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king spoke with them, and among all of them, none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore, they stood before the king, and in every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and enchanters that were in his kingdom. So that wasn't just because of their own talent. That was a gift from God. And also, there's a verse in the New Testament, it's Ephesians 3:20, and that says, God, who is able to do far more abundantly than all that we ask or think, according to the power at work within us. To him be the glory. So Daniel makes sure that he's glorifying God, and then God blesses his obedience. In part 2, we'll talk about more about King Nebuchadnezzar and how he is a difficult person that we would deal with. We get a little hint of that when the eunuch is scared that he's going to get his head chopped off for switching the food. But we'll see it more in chapter 2. So I hope this helps. Stay tuned. God bless.